Nadler of New York.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Mueller, the IG reported that the number of requests for NSLs from 2003 to 2005 was over 143,000. About half of those concerned U.S. persons. He also reports that the number of terror-related convictions the Inspector General was able to confirm stemming from the 143,000 persons information that was collected through NSLs was 1. Doesn't that sound a little unbalanced?
I would have to go back and look at that. Quite clearly, national security letters have figured in a number of terrorist investigations, disruptions, and prosecutions.
Substantially more than 1?
Yes.
Because the IG reports that there was 1 conviction that stemmed from those 143,000 people.
I have to go back and look at that statement. I didn't focus on that, but I can assure you that national security letters are focused in a number of investigations. Anytime you have an investigation such as this Operation Overt, where individuals are trying to get on planes in the UK, we will have efforts to immediately determine whether or not we have a threat here.
Sure.
You have a JFK plot, the recent plot against Fort Dix. I can assure you that.
All right, let me go further. The IG also discovered that the subscriber information for approximately 11,100 phone accounts was obtained with only 9 NSLs. Doesn't this... 9 NSLs produced 11,000 phone accounts.
Yeah, I'd have to get back to you on that.
All right, because, well, that's what the IG, it's in the IG's report. My question is, that ratio sort of implies a fishing expedition, or at least not a very focused investigations.
I'm not going to disagree with you in terms of the perception. I'd have to get back to you as to the circumstances under which, number one, what the IG was referring to and the circumstances that he is referring to.
Okay. In the June 1st, 2007 draft guidelines on the issuance of NSLs,
yes.
On page 3, there's a discussion of email and what is content and therefore cannot be obtained by an NSL, but that discussion is redacted. So my question is, do you consider the body of the text of an email to be content?
Yes.
Both.
The body, if you're talking about the body of an email, I would
content and
that is content. Let me just check my.
And therefore cannot be be obtained.
The content.
And therefore cannot be obtained by an NSL.
That's correct.
And the body of the subject line of the email.
Yeah, I have to make certain that I get back. I believe that's content as well.
Okay. Now, on page 109 of the Inspector General's report, it's reported that agents are accessing, quote, NSL information about parties 2 or 3 steps removed from their subjects without determining if these steps reveal serious connection, close quote. Doesn't this violate even the relevance standard for issuing NSLs?
And again, I'd have to go. It may. I do not believe it necessarily does.
Well,
and it would determine the circumstances of a particular investigation.
And if it doesn't, would that not imply that the relevance standard is a little too low?
I think you'd have to look at the circumstances. I don't think you can make a basic conclusion on that statement alone. Okay. You would have to look at the circumstances because there may well be indications that this person is part of a community and may refer.
Let me switch topics.
Uh-huh.
In the revisions to Section 505 that were made by the Patriot Act, the new standard was that in order to get an NSL, you simply had to assert that it is relevant to an ongoing investigation with respect to terrorism. The old standard was that in order to get an NSL, you had to assert specific and articulable facts giving reason to believe that the information or records sought by the letter pertain to a foreign power, an agent of foreign power, or a terrorist. Now, why shouldn't we go back to that?
Because it would absolutely hobble us in terms of our ability to do it. Because you need information to make that finding that the person is an agent of a foreign power. The only way to get the information to make that finding is to obtain records in which there is a limited privacy right, such as subscriber records, until you make that finding. And to put that finding at the front, it would preclude us from getting, if I can just finish, it would preclude us from doing exactly what I said we need to do when we get telephone numbers from a UK plot We do not know whether the persons contact the United States are terrorists or not. With that standard, we would not be able to follow up on that information we got from our counterparts overseas.
I yield back.